Welcome to the Fright Club. Rule number 1. Subscribe and share. Rule number 2. Submit your ideas. Rule number 3. Talk about the Fright Club. Salutations, Fright Clubbers. With the winter season upon us, I kind of wanted to give you a killer winter. For my lore, I would like to discuss the Yeti. Once known as the Abominable Snowman, this mysterious creature is said to live in the mountains of Asia. The Yeti is said to be from Himalayan folklore. In these stories, the Yeti serves as a warning for the people to avoid dangerous, wild animals and to stay close to the tribe. Stories date back as far as 326 BC, when Alexander the Great demanded to see a Yeti, but was told that a Yeti would not survive the lower altitude. In 1921, explorers of Mount Everest told a journalist that they had discovered some rather large footprints in the snow. In 1942, two hikers reported seeing two black specks about a quarter of a mile below them. Despite the difference, they offered a rather unique description. The height was not much less than 8 feet. Oh, I'm so tall I can touch the sky. Oh, and the head is squarish. And the ears must lie close to the skull. Oh, I could hear you. Yeah. Look how well I could hear you. And the shoulders, oh, they slump sharply down to a powerful chest. Ooh, square shoulders, sharply downward. Covered by a reddish-brown fur which formed a close body fur mixed with long, straight hairs moving downward. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's not clear if this was a hoax or a misidentification, but famed mountaineer Reinhold Messner says that large bears often get mistaken for Yeti. So, what about the evidence? There is a distinct lack of hard proof for the Yeti, but a few things have surfaced over the years, such as footprints, a hide, a finger. Throughout the past 10 years, there have been dedicated die-hard believers. From Russia came scientists who discovered gray hair on a mossy rock, and therefore set up a conference of experts. One expert claimed that the Yeti would take gnarled tree branches and make nests. In 2013, a scientist found a clump of hair containing 36 samples of testable DNA. Now, most of the DNA tested positive for regular animals, but 2 were a 100% match for an extinct polar bear. Now, the 2 samples have been tested numerous times with varying results. In 2017, scientists went and collected samples, mainly fecal matter. Okay, that's not going to be big enough. Okay, let's pick it up. Of the 9 samples, 8 were bear and the 9th was dog. Does the Yeti exist? With lack of evidence, it seems to be just a myth, but that doesn't deter die-hard believers who just say the Yeti or Yeti are just reclusive and elusive. And now, on to my top 5 fearful movie countdown, where I'll go from the horribly horrible to the devilishly delightful. Hypothermia. 2 squabbling families are forced to set aside their differences and work together after a vicious monster awakens from the cold waters of the remote frozen lake area they are staying at. When I first saw this movie, I went, oh, Michael Rooker is in this movie. Michael Rooker is a horror icon, from Slither to other non-horror movies such as Guardians of the Galaxy. So immediately I thought, oh, this is going to be a really good movie. No. This movie itself really lacked substance. One thing that really bothered me the most was how cheap the creature looked. Roar! Okay, look, like, I know I'm not that scary. Look, I know this is the budget, okay? We put a lot of money into the ice, into the actors, into the set, and this is what we could do, and I think it's awesome. I don't need your criticism. This is what we could do. This is it. This is the monster. I think I'm pretty scary. I think I am. Now. Whatever. You know, I'm done. I'm done entertaining you. I'm done. Get this camera out of my face. I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but it looked like a really cheap creature of the Black Lagoon. I understand that no one in this movie was an actual scientist, so there was no way to get closure on what this creature was. The simple fact that a lot of them were guessing that, oh, look, it's just a regular fish. Oh, it's this kind of fish. Or, oh, it's that kind of fish. It has legs. It jumped out of the water. A lot of things didn't really seem to make sense in this movie. It was mind-boggling to me why they just didn't take the ski-mobile or take the other family member's truck back to the cabin. I get it. I understand why they don't want to walk back to the cabin. It was the middle of the night. It was dark. They couldn't see. They could fall into the water with holes. Yeah, I get it. Fine. But there were many options of escape, and yet no one chose them. So that's kind of the reason why this movie, unfortunately, makes my bottom of the list. Unnatural. Global climate change prompts a scientific corporation to genetically modify Alaskan polar bears with horrific results. This movie was part of the After Dark Horror Fest, which spawned great movies such as The Deaths of Ian Stone, The Final, From Within. Unfortunately, this movie does not fit into that list. What's really going on in the movie, aside from the scientists experimenting on polar bears, is the fact that you have a model shoot going on in the Alaskan wilderness. So you have your cameraman, your production assistant, and your couple of models all staying at a cabin that is owned by someone who actually lives in Alaska, so they can, show them the ropes and what to do so that way they don't get attacked by bears. You failed. One thing that kind of bothered me was a little bit of an explanation. I wasn't really sure why this bear was attacking these people. You were just kind of left to guess. I will say there were some kind of interesting kill scenes where I have to deal with the polar bear, so I did like that. But unfortunately, one of the most upsetting things about this whole movie was, once again, the creature. You never saw the creature as a whole. You saw this polar bear in pieces. Like, you saw its front paw at one point, its back paw at another point. You saw its body from a distance, and then, unfortunately, you saw its head. For some odd reason, this polar bear creature thing kind of looked like someone put on a skinned bear rug and just put it over their head and was trying to scare people with it. It kind of looked like something Jim Henson would create and put on a spooky version of the Sesame Street. Because of all these factors, I had to put it towards the bottom of my list. Donner Pass. Donner Pass has a well-known and macabre history. The place where George Donner and his party got stuck in the winter of 1846 and were forced to resort to cannibalism to keep from starving. But what if it wasn't just history? I know you don't get much from that description at all, so let me break it down for you. Basically, it's your typical slasher film in the sense that you have college friends who decide to go to a friend's cabin in the woods that just happens to be somewhere near Donner's Pass. I like this movie for a lot of reasons. Part of it being the characters. The characters were kind of well written in the sense that you rooted for some and then also that you didn't want any to survive. But to me, that's okay. Others were bossy and controlling and annoying and you wanted them to die. So it was like, woohoo! There were a couple of things I just didn't like about this movie. First off, this one part to where they're out in the mountains and they don't have a cell phone signal. Guys, there's no reception up here in the mountains. There isn't any. Hello? What do you mean you have no reception? Girl, look. It is 2015. There are satellites everywhere for reception. Hello? Hello? Fine, look, borrow my phone. We'll get out of here. Let's go. Come on. Oh, everyone's dead. What are we going to do? Yeah, I know. Everyone's dead. Yada, 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 yada. Whatever. Hello? Oh. Hello? Okay, yeah, no. Oh, no, he's coming over. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no, I say go ahead and put her on the list. And then just go ahead and invite Cousin George, Bob, and David. Yeah, that'll make the seating chart a lot easier. Okay, thanks, no problem. Okay, yeah, we'll call the cops right now. Gotcha, bye. Oh, my phone died. Oh, no. Other than that, I have to say, I kind of like this movie, but I kind of didn't like this movie at the same time. Is it a one-hit wonder? Or would I like to see more? To be honest, I wouldn't mind a part 2 to this movie to give me a little bit more background and a little bit more explanation. My Little Eye. 5 people are offered $1 million to spend 6 months together in an isolated mansion with cameras watching their every move in the middle of a snowstorm. If one leaves, they all lose the money. So I have to say, this little independent movie is actually one of my favorites. It did have some flaws, but beyond that, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I felt that the twist that happens in the middle of the movie, it kept you going. It really awakened you. It was like a shot of espresso all of a sudden. That was kind of the one thing that I'm sure I wasn't a huge fan of about this movie, was they added all of this boring material, I guess, to give you the idea of the boring habitat and the boring nature that these people are actually going through. There's no entertainment, no television, newspaper, just each other. And also, you gotta remember, shows like Big Brother or Survivor, well, they don't even put their people there for 6 months. It makes you wonder, are these people going crazy? Or are they already crazy? Who knows? I feel that they kind of kept the boring a little bit too long. But I promise, if you plow through that boring field just a little bit, you guys will have a nice twist right in the middle of the movie. I wanted to know more and more about what was actually happening in this movie. I highly recommend this movie, and I have to say, push through it. It is worth the wait once you figure out the twist. Shredder. At an exclusive, secluded North American ski resort up on Mount Rocky Summit, brutal slashing, severing, and beheading on a group of teenagers are taking place and are believed to be the work of a mysterious skier dressed in black. I have to say, and a lot of people might disagree with me on this, but part of the reason it made my #1 movie was because it fits perfectly in that category of it's so bad, it's good. The characters are something I obsess about when it comes to a movie. And these characters were actually really, really well written. Were they well acted? Not so much. But to me, the characters actually had a lot of diversity. And then also, they had a lot of interesting moments. As a viewer, you found yourself rooting for a couple of them, which I think every horror movie needs. One of the greatest parts about this movie is the inclusion of a slutty best friend. After watching this movie and a particular scene, I always wonder to myself, how many situations could a slutty best friend get me out of? Oh, Mr. Bank Robber, please. As you can see, I don't have much on me. Get out of that, girl. Get out. Oh, come on, Mr. Demon. Do you want in something? Oh, the power of Christ compels me. You, compels you. Oh, Mr. Zombie, please. I could do anything you want. Oh, it fell off. Don't worry. I can totally work with that. Oh no. Please, don't eat me. No! Okay, well, maybe to not that extent, but I think you get the picture. This movie had, some bad moments itself, some stupid gore, some scenes that didn't really make sense. But you know what? To me, it all worked perfectly together. Go out there, get this movie, and then laugh. Make fun of it. That is what this movie is for. It fits that Elvira-like category. It works for me. Hope it works for you. So first off, I want to thank everyone for watching today's chilling video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Make sure you click that little notification bell to stay up to date on everything that's happening here at the Fright Club. Don't forget to share, comment, like, and if you want to know more about today's video as well as links to our Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, make sure to check the description below for details. Ooh, it's getting chilly. Oh, well, I guess I better light a fire. Oh. Oh, do you hear that? Oh, it sounds like carolers. Oh, well, I guess that means my kindling was here. Yo, yo, yo. My masterpiece. This is the Yeti. This is him. Right here. This is it. Oh, I'm picking up the poop. Picking up the Yeti poop. Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, this is just lube. It really helps warm up the body. Oh, it's really cold, too. I'm done.